Hi, and welcome to our Mastering Zotero session. For today, we'll be talking about how to get started with Zotero, how to use the desktop client, browser plugin, and the word integration tool. We'll also talk about working with databases and how to import and export large amounts of items. We're going to talk about collaborative features, so how to share our research findings with other people for group projects. And we'll also talk about some other useful features such as website snapshots. So why do I use Zotero? First of all, it's free and it's open source. It has web and desktop functionality. It's easy to sync your libraries across multiple devices. The collaborative features are really easy to use, and Zotero is regularly updated and improved. The advanced features in Zotero are really great, but it's not necessary to use those features in order to get the value out of the program. So what is Zotero good for? It helps you organize your research in any way that you would like. You can sort items into collections and tag them with keywords, or you can create saved searches that automatically fill with relevant materials as you work. You can also sync and collaborate, so you can access your libraries across devices with seamless syncing and web accessibility. You can also work with your colleagues to create shared resources during group projects. And Zotero can create works cited. So it instantly creates references and bibliographies for any text editor and directly inside Word using the word integration tool, which we'll talk about. It also supports almost any citation style that you might ever need to use. So when we get started with Zotero, we'll want to make an account on Zotero Web. So Zotero Web allows you to view and edit your data and access synced files. For full functionality though, you'll want to install the desktop client and ensure that you're logged in on the desktop client to sync across the web and the desktop. We'll go over that in just a little bit. And then you'll want to also download Zotero Connector, which is an extension for your browser. It automatically senses content as you browse the web, and it allows you to save to Zotero with a single click. It's also accessed via the same page that you download the desktop client, which is zotero.org. And the Zotero connector is available for Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and Safari. The best way to really show you how Zotero works is to just do a demonstration. So I'll show you how I use Zotero to add a new article to my library. So what we'll do is we'll find an article on the Western Libraries website, and we'll go to the website of the article. On our desktop client for Zotero, we'll select the folder that we want our new citation to go into. We'll click the Zotero icon on our toolbar, and then we'll check our Zotero library to make sure that our source was captured. So first, we'll go to our desktop client. So here's what mine looks like. I've got all my libraries here on the left-hand pane, so a library for each class. And then I've also created a library for this session today. If we want to create a new collection, we'll just right-click on my library and then click New Collection. Or you can create a new collection just by clicking this folder up here at the top of the left pane and create a new collection. For now, though, we will click on our Zotero session collection because that's where we want our new saved article to go into. And then we'll go to the Western Libraries website where I've already got an article pulled up, The Changing Role of Libraries, How Social Workers Can Help. And we'll go to the website that this is hosted on. And then we'll go into our toolbar, which after you have saved the Zotero connector plugin, you want to pin it to your toolbar so it's easily accessible for you. And we'll just click Save to Zotero here. And as you can see, it's saving to Zotero session, which is the folder that we want it to go into. Just click that little arrow here, and then I'll click Done. And then we'll check to make sure that it has gone into our library. So here it is, The Changing Role of Libraries, How Social Workers Can Help. And then we can see on the right-hand side all of the metadata that's been populated for us by the Zotero connector. So we've got the item type, the title, authors, publication, date, DOI, and our URL, basically everything that we would need to create a bibliography from this item. And all of these fields are editable, so if you need to change anything, you can. If you need to add something in, you can do that as well. And if we scroll down, we see that Zotero Connector automatically has added the full text PDF of the article to our collection here, which is really helpful. You can turn off this setting if you would like, but I think it's really actually nice to have the PDF. That way you don't have to go searching for it again. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, we see that Zotero has populated some tags for us about the article. You can delete these tags if you would like by just clicking the remove button, and then you can add your own tags by clicking add. And these tags are just really helpful for organizing things a little bit further. Like say you've got a certain paper that you're working on for a certain class and you want to tag it with that class's code or something like that so that you can find it a little bit more easily. It's very helpful there. And then I'll also show you how the search works. So this search bar up here is just the quick search. You can just type in a keyword or an author's name and pull up the articles in that collection. Or you can click the magnifying glass here and go to advanced search. And here's where you can search in specific fields, and you can search sub-collections. It's a bit more of a focused search than just using the quick search section. And also, now that I showed you how to add an article using Zotero Connector, there are a couple other ways that you can add articles to your collections. So one way would be to add it completely manually by clicking New Item here, and that'll bring up this drop-down box of the item type that you would select, and then you would have to go through and fill in all of this metadata on your own. Or you can click the magic wand and add an item by an identifier. And so you would just search the ISBN number, the DOI number, a PMID, and then Zotero will bring in that article into your collection and then populate all of this metadata here for you. And as we said, creating your works cited with Zotero is very easy. So one thing to remember though is that your works cited are only going to be as good as the data that's in your Zotero database. It's not going to fill in the blanks for you. It will do 90% of the work, but it's not always going to be perfect. So you want to ensure that your records are accurate and up to date. So that's going through that metadata that's been automatically populated and checking to make sure everything's correct and that your links work, especially because URLs can change over time. You can also create your bibliography from a collection in Zotero, or from a bunch of selected records at once, or from a single record, all in the same way. It's really easy. As we see in these images over here, you would just select the item that you want to create a bibliography for. You would right-click on the item, scroll down to create bibliography from item, click on that, and then you'll pull up this window here where you can choose your citation style. And then you can also click copy to clipboard. That way you can copy and paste right into Word your works cited. There are the advanced word integration features that can make this even more easy, and we'll go over that next. One of the best ways, I think, again, to show you how to do this is just to pull up an example Word document and just kind of walk you through how you would add your citations and your bibliography to a document. So we'll do that here. As we see in our toolbar, we've got the Zotero add-in in Word, and that will automatically be added to your word processor once you've downloaded the Zotero desktop. If it's not, there is a way to add this manually. You would just go to zotero.org and they have the add-in available to download there too. So what you would do is click into your document wherever you would like your in-text citation to go. So we'll put it here. You'll click Add Edit Citation, and it'll bring up a search bar here for you where you can search for the author's last name, you can search a keyword, anything that will bring up the article that you want to put in your in-text citation here. So I'm just going to search author's last name. And then as we see here, the changing role of libraries, we'll click on that. And then we'll click this arrow to save your edit to your citation. And then as we see here, it populates our in-text citation for us. Next, we can add or edit our bibliography. So what you'll most likely do is scroll to like the bottom of your document here, place your cursor where you would like the bibliography to go, and then click Add or Edit Bibliography. And then as we see here, it's populated our citation for us. We can also change our document preferences here. And this is where we can change our citation style within the document. We can make it so that the document automatically updates our citations if anything changes in our Zotero library. And if anything changes in our Zotero library and we want to make sure that's reflected in our document, we can also click refresh here. And finally, there's an unlink citations button here. This is irreversible, so if you click this button, make sure that you want to click it. But it will remove all the Zotero field codes and it will unlink from your Zotero library. So what have we learned? As often as possible, it's best to use the Zotero desktop client because the web version has limited functionality. Notably, it can't export records. You'll also want to make sure that you're logged in for syncing between your desktop and your web version of Zotero. I'll show you really quickly what that looks like in our desktop version. So what we would want to do is click Edit. We want to click Settings and then go to Sync here in this left-hand sidebar. I've already logged into my account, but if you hadn't, you would just add in your username and your password and then link account. Here's also where you can change your syncing settings. So you can change it so that it syncs automatically or not, kind of depending on your preferences. You can also sync manually between your web and desktop client by just clicking the sync button here in the upper right hand corner. So we've also learned that the Zotero connector browser plugin is a must, and it's almost required to export from some databases. Though exporting through the connector can be a little hit and miss, but the biggest tip is to make sure that you have the folder where you want your export to go selected in Zotero before you export. You also should be organized, so figure out how you want to organize your data before everyone starts dumping searches into a shared library. Zotero is hierarchical, so folders do roll up. And now we'll talk a little bit about working with databases and importing a large list of items into Zotero so that you don't have to do all of that work manually. For example, you might be searching in ProQuest and have a long list of items that you want to add. So again, probably the best way to show you this is to do a demonstration. So we'll go to ProQuest. And I've got a search already pulled up here. You'll want to make sure that you scroll down to the bottom and that your items per page is set at 100. So you can export the most articles at a time. And you'll want to select 1 to 100. I'm just going to click Remind Me Later because I don't want to create a research account at the moment. And then I'll click All Save and Export Options, these 3 little dots. And you'll want to export as an RIS file. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. What I usually do is click deselect items when done so that these won't be selected any longer once I've downloaded the RIS file. We'll want to make sure the output says to RIS. We'll click continue and then it will download. It does take a little bit of time sometimes, but actually it was relatively quick today. So then we'll go to Zotero on our desktop. We'll click File. We'll click Import. And we want to import from a files because we want that RIS file that we just downloaded. Click Next. select the file that you want to import, click open. This will be automatically selected for you, but we do want to place our imported collections and items into a new collection. And we want to make sure we've selected copy files to the Zotero storage folder. And we'll click next. Then it will import. Click finish. And then as we see here, all of those 100 items have been imported into our Zotero library in a new collection. You will want to go through, check for duplicates, make sure that all of your metadata is in properly. But yeah, that's a kind of a quick way to do a whole lot of adding of items at once. Then we'll just talk quickly about collaborative features. Zotero groups is a way that you can share your own works or sources that you've discovered with others who are working in related areas. You can collaborate with your colleagues publicly or privately on ongoing research, and you can discover other people that have similar interests in the sources that they are citing. And we do have a video here. However, I think it might just be easier to show you just an example of how we would create a group and manage a group. So you'll do this by going to Zotero web version, and then you'll click groups. You'll click create a new group. And you'll choose a name for your group. We'll make it January 19, 2025. We'll make it so that it's public and closed membership, so that we have to have members apply or be invited by me in order to join the group, but anyone online can view it. And we'll click create. Then we'll go through all of these settings here, so you can change any of these that you'd like. Just lets you know who can read, who can edit files. We'll click save settings. We'll go to our groups, and here is our January 19th group. So it says that I'm the owner, tells us when it was created, and it says that we have one member here. So if we click on our members, that'll show us that. We have to go to the group list in order to manage members of a group. So you'll click manage members. If you want to add people in, you'll click send invitations, and you'll type in people's email addresses or their Zotero usernames, and then click invite. And then finally, we'll talk about a feature called website snapshots. This is a fairly new feature for Zotero. Very easy to use. Again, we have a video here, but I'll just show you very quickly how that works. So once you've downloaded your Zotero connector, you will be able to use this feature. So we'll just go to that article that we saved earlier about how social workers can help in the changing role of libraries, and you'll just right-click on the page, go to Zotero connector, hover over Save to Zotero, and then click Save to Zotero web page with snapshot. And select Zotero session, because that's where we want to save this into. And we'll click Done. Then we'll go to our desktop here, and here we see the website snapshot. So our item type is a web page here. And when you save this, it saves a screenshot of the site. So that's like if the website goes down, if an article gets taken down, and you want just like a record of what you saw on that particular day when you saw it, you'll save a snapshot of it. So when we click on the attachment, here we see the snapshot of the screen of the web page. And that's all. So if you have any questions, I've linked to the Zotero support page for some troubleshooting and tips. Thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful.